coaches love if they have a guy who's like an extension of them on the court.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen for you and Drew?
Well, I think we've grown a lot together. I think that, as you said, it's that head coach, quarterback in football, that guy who's going to run your stuff, who has an awareness of what the defense is trying to do. I talked to Drew last night a little bit about, late in the game, about, where we want to go with that ball. I want it in his hands. I want him making plays. If we're running screen rolls, who do we want to get in the pick and rolls? Where do we want to get our guys? And that's when the game really has to slow down for you, because under pressure, a lot of times the game speeds up. And that's, I feel very good about where Drew is going with that. This team, we don't dribble as much. Yes, I mean, I think what you're seeing, and it's, when that ball is moving and bodies are moving, it's much harder to defend than it is when there's a lot of dribbling. A lot of times, the teams just load up. But at the end of the day, I mean, I want that ball in Drew's hands, and in that second unit, Malik has been that guy that we've done that with. Last night, we had Darrell out with that starting group, and so he could do a little of that as well. But I think one of the things that has helped us a little bit this year is the way our team was constituted last year. You know, we had about 4 guys who could all push the ball and make plays, which in its own way was very good. I mean, Drake could do it, Luke could do it, Evan and Drew. But now I want our wings getting down the floor, and I want Drew to be the one getting that ball and pushing it. Now, if a defensive rebound, if Darrell gets it, if Evan gets it or whatever, I want them to push it. But for the most part, I want our guys sprinting the floor, getting down the floor, flattening it out, and let Drew come down and make plays. And he had 10 assists at halftime, Dean. I thought he would have probably had about 15 or 16. Got a little foul trouble, and I thought when he came back in, it was tough for him to get back in sync.
How about Kwame? Will he be able to go tomorrow?
My guess is no. I'm going to err on the side of caution. He was a little active in shoot-around yesterday and got a little bit sore. We probably won't play him tomorrow night. I'll see against the Knicks. But if I can get him 3 or 4 or 5 more days and then get him 5 practices before we go in, I think he'll be ready to go.
Would you then, with those 5 practices, if he's healthy, want him with Thad in that starting lineup?
I'll have to see. I'll have to see. Lavoie and Thad are playing very, very well together right now. And I'll have to, I don't want to break those guys up. Thad is in a real good rhythm with that, and I think Lavoie, they really read each other well. And Lavoie is really good for Thad with his strength, and Thad is really good for Lavoie with his speed.
Hey, Doug, can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Drew over in London when he was on a select team, and you guys' communication? Because he talked a lot about that last night, and he said he felt that kind of made you guys even closer with the texting and all that stuff.
Well, you know what, I'm a relationship guy. I've always felt like that I'm at my best when I'm connecting with my team, and especially with guys individually, because I think you learn how to speak the language to be able to reach each individual guy, and everybody's different. And that point guard, it's vital. Drew is not a real, vocal guy.
Right.
He probably, texting would be low on the level of guys getting back to you quickly.
Right.
He just, which is fine, but I think over there we had a chance to reach out with one another. I tell you, the guy that my son Chris really talked to him a lot, not in London, but in Vegas.
Really?
About the changing of our team and how important it was going to be for Drew to step up to that next level of speaking and running a team and being a quarterback, and because it was he and Kyrie Irving were out there playing together a lot with that select team.
Right.
Drew was, and Chris had a chance to talk to him a lot, and I think probably Chris was able to talk to him more than maybe even I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he kind of like a conduit? I'm sorry. Was he kind of like a conduit? Did he kind of relay stuff to you? I mean, obviously you had a close relationship.
Well, it's. Chris and I have 38 years together, and him laying on that couch and watching a lot of games together, we both think very much alike in terms of the way we like the game to be played, especially from the point guard position. And so I mean, I trust Chris implicitly with the things he's talking about, and because I mean, Chris is the one thing about it is I think people view him as a guy who's been down at Duke and in college a lot, but I mean, he's been on the World Championship staff and out there teaching and the Olympics. So he's been around a lot of pro players.
Right.
He watched me coach since he's a little kid in Chicago. You know, so I think he has a really good feel for that. So I was very pleased Chris was able to spend that time with him.
Doug, what are you hoping to accomplish in the last 2 games? Or kind of what are your goals in terms of preparing to see what we'd like to see heading into the practice season?
Well, I was very happy Jay Richardson got 32 minutes last night. I'd like to see him get a good back-to-back in. I'm going to rest Thad tomorrow. He had a really good night last night. Played a lot of minutes. So I'm going to play Arnett tomorrow night, and I want to get him some minutes and some reps. Tomorrow night we'll have a little different of a blend. We'll have Drew Evan and Jay Rich, and see that group together, and it'll be with Arnett and probably Lavoie. So that's a little bit of a different group. I'd like to keep Spencer in his role where he is right now. I think it's a good spot for him. He's playing very well. I'd like to keep Nick Young in his spot. I'd like to keep Malik in his spots. So as I look at those guys, and then Darrell, tomorrow night will come off the bench. I could play him some as a 3. I could play him some as a 4, especially if they don't start Jeff Green. I might play him some as a 4. I don't know how Doc is going to play the game tomorrow, tomorrow. I think they play tonight. And so I don't know how he's going to play the game tomorrow. I think they play the Knicks tonight. I'm not sure. So I don't know how he's going to necessarily play the game. Continued awareness of our offense, continuing to value the ball. Boston is a very, very good executing team. They really do a good job of executing. So, I mean, I looked at it last night. The Brooklyn had 96 points. We kept them under 45% field goal shooting, and they had 28 second chance points. So that was the one thing was the second chance points. But other than that, our fast breaks, we had our 40 points combined at those 2 areas that we liked. We shot almost 50%. Got to the line 27 times, 13 turnovers, 24 assists. So we just want to keep building on that, Tom. And then I'll set Drew against the Knicks, and then I'll see how we do that. I'll probably play Royale Ivy and get him some good minutes on that game. And then, we'll take a day off, and then we got to be ready to get ourselves ready for the regular season.
Doug, some coaches have a style, whether it's the triangle offense or whatever, and would be either unwilling or unable to change their philosophy given the guys they have in the gym. Were you always a guy who said, all right, I have 3-point shooters now, so I'm gonna, play to that strength? Or
Yes, that's who I've always tried to be as a coach. I think it's up to me to value every piece of a team and see how I can maximize that. That's my job. Can I get the players better? Can I value everything that they do? And can we do it in a team concept? No 2 teams I've ever coached, other than maybe last year's team back-to-back, have ever been alike. And last year I thought it helped us to start because of the lockout. But normally, wherever I've gone, it's been a team that's trying to build. And so there's always been a lot of changes. I mean, in my first year in Chicago, we had a certain group, and then we came back the next year, and Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant were on that team. I went to Detroit, had a certain group. I lost Allen Houston to free agency, so I had a different team. Was in Washington, had a certain team the one year, then we made a change. Rip Hamilton, Jerry Stackhouse, we had a lot of younger guys. And now here we have 8 new faces. So I think the one thing that I've always consistently tried to do is I want the game to be fun, and I want the guys to have fun playing, and I want us to share. And I think we do that. I think the game is fun for everybody.